Okay, here's a look at Magic Square's MS-04 Munitioner. So here's a look at the front of the box with the nice rendered art of Swindle there. This kind of reminds me of figure drawing. You could see how they handled the rendering here, the light. It's kind of faded here, so there's like a little focused on this area. This cannon here is a little bent here. It's not really straight. If you could see, it comes down here and then it turns. So it's a little misdrawn right there. But you could see this is blurred. That's focus. So it's a nice rendering here. And then the background, I don't know if you could see, but I don't know what that is. That kind of reminds me of like the Nemesis in the deep in the ocean. But it's a nice artwork there. And then the back of the box, you get your nice background scene with the silhouette. It looks really nice. And then your tech spec, which you also get on the bio card. And the side of the box, you get your Magic Square logo, MS-04, Munitioner with the silhouette of Swindle. And the other side, you get the same thing, but this side, you don't get the silhouette of Swindle, but you get the warning on there. And the top of the box, Magic Square's logo with that same nice rendered artwork. And the bottom, you get your warning words and stuff. So that is a look at the box. And here is a look at the figure. It's a really nice looking masterpiece scaled figure. So that's what he looks like. But first, as always, let's go over all the accessories. So first, I already attached some of the accessories. So his arm cannon here, which is straight. You could see it is nicely sculpted, nicely painted. So this is very tune accurate. And on the back, we do get the spare tire, which is also nicely sculpted. It's done really nice right there. And then we do get his rocket gun. I think that's what you call this. And there is a little handle here so you could bring it down. So you can have him holding it if you want. And here you could see what this looks like. This is actually nicely sculpted, nicely painted. And then we get the adapter or parts forming piece so that these can attach in alt mode. And I'll just do that now so you could see. So basically you fold up the handle piece, you find the slot right, the top tab right there, and you find the slot on this side. I think that was smart how they did this. You see there's a slot here, there's a tab here. So there's only one direction that this can go in. So it goes in there. And then his arm cannon, basically just untab this. And I like how they gave you the option. You can have it on the front, kind of like in the cartoon, even though it did appear a couple of times in the cartoon on the side. So I do like that this window that we do get that option, whatever your preference is. And this one, you just basically find the slot and the tab it in, and then we have his guns for his alt mode all set up. So you can see what this looks like. This is really cool. And you can just simply rotate it, you know, just off of the tab mechanism here. I'll share some of my concerns with this a little bit later, but that's what that looks like. So we'll put that aside for next time. And then we do get his alternate face, which is kind of hard to see. So first of all, let's take a closer look at his face so we could see what this looks like. Let's see if I can come in a little bit more. So there's his face, and I kind of don't like how it's oversaturated because you see you're getting that reflection. But anyways, this is the face that comes installed. So you basically lift it up, untab it right there, and then we can give him his alternate face. Put that on, and you know what they were trying to do, right? They were trying to give that smirk, but I don't think that was sculpted very well. It kind of looks a little bit like a smile than a smirk. But anyways, that's what the alternate face looks like. Still a nice accessory that they gave you. And then, of course, we have the parts forming piece for his leg and foot. So this is what this looks like. Nothing special about it, but you know, this is gray, which I don't like. This is for the toy version, and I, you know, did pre-order the tune version. So just letting you know that one you're gonna have to assemble it by unscrewing these and attaching it. So there's just a little minor complaint there, but it is nicely ratcheted. I mean, the teeth are kind of wide, that's why you hear that little gap. And then the toes, same thing. But I guess what's cool is that they are pretty firm, so it's and tight, so it's holding up. So I think that's good. And you know, this does kind of have that issue where you could see it's a little bit at an angle. But I'm actually okay with that because, you know, normally you have your figure standing at an A stance. So, and then the weight is probably just gonna get it straight anyways. But there's a look at that. Also, nicely sculpted details, even though I'm not going to use the gray foot. So that's the accessories. And then last, the bio card, which are my favorites. So here you could see what this looks like. The same artwork with the bent cannon there. And the back, you get your tech spec with the nice silhouette. So that's nice. And then the instructions. So let's zoom out. So if you want, you could just pause and refer to this for the transformation steps if you need to. And I'll just say that this one is a little bit easier than their legend scale one. That's probably because it's bigger, and they did make some changes to it. But there are some other issues that, you know, I'll point out throughout the throughout the review. But here you could see what the transformation is. And that's everything that you get. So now, here is a look at Swindle. And here we have Swindle with his arm cannon and rocket gun attached. You could see that looks really nice. But first, as always, let's compare this with the animation model and see how well they captured the toon aesthetics. And you could see, as always, Magic Square did a really nice job capturing the toon aesthetics. But there is one major issue that I have, and that's the window here. You could see it's not blue, the transparent blue or painted blue. And I do have a major issue with that because Magic Square, they know about it. That's why their legend scale, you know, they gave you the reissue with the blue. So they know it. So that's why I have a major complaint there with the window not being blue, because they know it and they just chose not to do it for whatever reason. But aside, so I'm going to actually have to do something to fix that. I will do something to fix that. But anyways, you could see that's what he looks like from the front. And the back, same thing. They did a nice job capturing the toon aesthetics. And unlike the Legends version, they did make some modifications here. So they cleaned it up so you don't have like the tire exposed on the back of his leg, and then you have another tire on the faux tire on the side. They did a nice job. I mean, even little details here like the black part of the bumper here. So yeah, they did a nice job. Now in terms of the figure, so you could see I'm doing this. I mean, you could see it doesn't wobble around, so it's pretty solid, pretty firm, stays in place. But there are actually some issues. I mean, this is not quite like fans toys where they're relying on the paint for the friction. I'm still trying to figure it out, but the most important thing is, you know, the way they executed the figure with the paint and stuff. You know, it does cause some issues with the transformation. So one here, I'm just trying to show you, like, tabbing things in and untabbing it, as you've probably seen from other reviewers, it's really tight. That may or may not be a good thing, but my concern is over time, you know, if you do it too much, you might actually loosen it up where it won't stay tabbed in. But the bigger issue is like things like right here, this tab goes in to the thigh right there during transformation. You have to give it a good squeeze to get it in all the way, otherwise you won't transform it properly. But when you're trying to transform it back to robot mode, it's really hard to untab it. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And it's good to know that, because when you're manipulating this during transformation, you need to be aware of all these pieces that tab in or untabbing it, because if you're not careful, yeah, you might cause stress to parts of the figure. But anyways, just have to always point those things out. But you could see it's a nice looking figure, very solid. It holds up very well. Now go over the articulation. Let's come up a little bit and take a closer look at his head. It's a nicely sculpted head, very tune accurate. And yeah, this is another issue I have. It's I think they just oversaturated the paint, because you could see that big gloss from the highlight there. That's because it's too much paint. I think they should have handled it like the way they handled the hands. You could see the hands are like a dark gray, and here it's black, which you already know that's not my favorite. It should be like a dark gray. See, the same thing. It's really, you know, oversaturated in my opinion. But anyways, you could see the head. It's nicely sculpted, and it does go up on a universal, so that's kind of cool. It does rotate, but you don't get any side to side confused dog look. Shoulders, you could see it's a double jointed, so you do get a lot of range for articulation with the shoulder, but that's also due to the transformation. It does go forward and back on friction, no ratchets. And again, this is, you know, I'm trying to figure things out. I mean, there's no ratchet, which, you know, you can get away with. You save some money on costs. And this is not quite like fans toys where they're relying on the paint for friction. But this does hold up well. I guess that's the most important thing. And then the shoulders can go out to the side. We'll pick that up later. You do get bicep swivel. Arms can go up past 90 degrees. And then the hand, which I do like how it's a dark gray color. It does rotate. Again, you see, this is what I'm talking about. Magic Square, even on their legends, they don't really do a good job fixing the tolerance. So here it's actually really tight. And the issue with that is if for some reason this is a part that you need to manipulate during transformation, the tightness, trying to maneuver it, becomes an issue. But anyways, that's that. And then you do get waist rotation. You do get tight ab crunch. So see, there are some areas where, you know, that tightness works really well, but then other areas it doesn't. You know, and that's not the first time I'm pointing this out with Magic Square. They just don't really pay attention to the tolerance. And here, just like their Brawl masterpiece, scaled Brawl, you could see, you know, there's an issue here. Unless you lift up the side hip skirts, it's hard to get this to rotate up. But once you do, you could see it does rotate up, and then you get this mess when you bring it down. So they, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, I think a lot of people already know they just did not design the hips very well. From going up, coming down, to having to lift up the side hip skirts before you could lift it up. And then you can actually go back on the leg as well. And this one, yeah, the teeth are so wide on the ratchets here. You just have to be careful when you're manipulating the legs to go out. And you could see where I'm doing it. I'm grabbing it from here. I'm not leveraging it from down here because I don't want to damage this area. But that's another area of concern. But it's nice that they did give you some ratchets there. And then, see this one, the ratchet here, it sounds much better. And it's a double ratcheted. And again, see, here comes the issue with that tightness. This upper part, it's really tight. And when you're trying to manipulate it during transformation, it might cause other areas of concern because you're putting so much pressure up here. You have to be careful with the parts elsewhere. But yeah, you could see it is double jointed, so you can get a really wide range of articulation there. And then you get thigh rotation, you do get ankle rocker on friction, and you can get slight toe tilt up, but no toe tilt down. So that's the articulation there. Hopefully you're okay with me pointing all that stuff out, because I feel it's really important that people be aware of it, because I just like some fans toys figures, I know that's how people break their figures, because they're not aware of some of the issues that I'm pointing out here, and you have to be aware of it, especially during transformation, or you might cause some damage. But anyways, it's holding up, and you just have to be careful when you're just, you know, kind of manipulating this into like nice poses or things like that. This is really nice. Overall, I like the fact that this is very tune accurate, and aesthetically, yeah, it's very tune accurate, and I do like it. But you know, that's really subjective. Some people have some complaints that this is too simple, it's lacking some detail. You know, again, that's really just subjective. But I do agree the detail looks nice. So with that said, let's bring out some comparisons and see some of the detailed versions of Swindle. Okay, so first let's bring out some of the old masterpiece. This one is by Unique Toys. So here you could see what this looks like. And then let's bring out the Mastermind Creations, the all-in-one. I think that's very important to point out, because that obviously affects some of the design aesthetics here, because it's all-in-one. And now you could just see some of the difference. Of course, I do have the Zeta, but that one, I'm not going to disassemble it just for this review. especially when the Zeta Swindle doesn't really look all that good in my opinion. But here you could see what these guys look like, and the differences between them. Obviously, the older versions, you know, have that old stylized rendition to them. So here, these do have some of the extra detail that, you know, some people like and complain that the Magic Square doesn't have. Because again, look at, I mean, all this extra detail, it does look nice. I mean, even these wheels, which are actually rubber, you could see the treads on there. It makes it look really nice. And this is kind of cool. They all gave you the spare tire on his back. So that's cool. And then, what else? This one, I think, is the window blue. It's kind of hard to tell, but it is just a really tiny bit blue up there, but not enough to cover all that kibble in there. And yeah, the stylized version, you could see his cannon here is definitely not tune accurate. I think this was some other feature with this one. They think they designed it to be like combining guns to form a big gun or something like that. But yeah, you could see. And this one, oh, well, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over the details, so you could just see. But as I'm looking at it, I do like the nice transparent purple windows, even though I'm, you know, not a fan of the transparent eyes. It just seemed to have worked out a little bit good on this one. But yeah, there's a lot of little differences, but the main thing is, you know, just so you could see the difference. There's obviously a lot more sculpt and detail on here. And in all fairness, with Mastermind Creations, this one has a little bit more because this is the all-in-one. But you could see for the most part, all three of these, they're actually not bad. It's just the Magic Square is more tune accurate, which is what I like. So just thought I'd show you what that looks like. And then let's bring out his buddy here, Brawl. So now you could see how these guys, and this is what I like. These guys scale well, you know, to next to each other. So these look much more like the cartoon. Not only do they individually look like the cartoon characters, but they scale well in the cartoon, because these guys always look like these were the correct height next to each other. So you could see what this looks like. And this just gets me really excited, because if it looks this good with just these two, how is it going to look with their next one and all 5 Combaticons? This is going to be an awesome set. And then with the Bruticus. And now that I said that, I'm just, now I need to think whether I want to buy 2 of them and 2 of them to have a Bruticus and individual Combaticons, because this looks really nice. But so that's a look at Swindle. So now let's go ahead and transform him to his alt mode and take a look at that.
Check this out.
Okay, here's a look at Swindle in alt mode. And first, as always, let's compare this with the animation model. And you could see that they did a nice job capturing the toon aesthetics. There are little things I could point out here and there, but you know, for the most part, they did a really nice job. And the back view, you could see also they did a really nice job. Looks really great. So now let's take a closer look at the details. So first of all, you could see it's nicely sculpted. It does have some nice amount of paint, but look at the way they handled the details and the treads on the wheels. The front here, I actually don't like the way they handled the headlights here. I think they could have made it without the little eyes in the center. but yeah, you could see they did a nice job. And the Autobot symbol. And I don't know if you noticed, but I already did customize it. So now he does have a blue window. So this is definitely more tune accurate. And the back, very simple, cleans up really well. And I'm always going to point out, you know, how some people, you know, they complain about the details. This, that's really all subjective. I mean, this is definitely more tune accurate, very plain and simple, which is my preference. I like it. But I don't disagree that, you know, with some extra sculpted and painted details that it would look nicer, more realistic. But yeah, it just depends, you know, what your preference is. But that's a look at the alt mode. So now let's do some comparisons. Okay, for some comparisons, first let's bring out the old masterpiece. This one is by Unique Toys. And so here you could see what the differences are. Color's a little off on the Unique Toys. I think this one captures the cartoon colors much better. And this one obviously has some extra sculpted in details. Even the lights back here looks really nice. This is kind of like a stylized version because you could see his cannon is just so not tune accurate compared to Magic Square. But yeah, it looks really nice. And yeah, I'll get into the transformations because yeah, transforming it, I actually discovered some more things that I like and don't like about both of these. And then let's bring out the Mastermind creations. So let's zoom out a little bit more so we could see. And here's the Mastermind creations. And you have to remember, this is all built in. So this one obviously has more parts, has like more of these kibbles exposed and stuff. Like here's a perfect example. These hinges here is actually part of the transformation for the all built in. So if they didn't do that, this probably would be much cleaner. So just pointing out, but it does have some extra sculpted detail, the lights, even on the back. Yeah, it just depends on what your preference is. This one, I'll tell you, I think doesn't clean up as nice as the Unique Toys. But you could see the colors a little bit more accurate to the cartoon. They did try to be more... yeah, see they did painted the tip of the rocket silver. So it is a little stylized. But yeah, I can nitpick this to death. All the little details. But yeah, here I just thought I'd just show you what the difference is between the three. So here you could see what they look like. And I could tell you, I'm really liking the Magic Square just simply because this one looks like it just popped right out of the cartoon. And this fell off here. So let's put this back on. And you could see what it looks like all around. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. The transformation. First of all, you know, I like figuring out how to transform the figures. And by doing so, you know, I understand a little bit more about the way they engineered the design for the transformation. And, you know, just certain areas you have to be careful with when manipulating it. And I'll tell you that the Unique Toys, I think, is the transformation design is actually a little bit better. And the way they handled the tolerance of like the tabs going in and being able to untab it is definitely much easier than the Magic Square. The Magic Square, you know, like I said many times already, they have they need to work on fixing the tolerance of, you know, these tabs, trying to tab them in, trying to untab it. Yeah, it's really annoying. I'll just say at least it's not as bad as X-Trans bots where you're trying to manipulate them by bending over pieces, which definitely is more at risk for breakage. But this one, you still have to be careful. It's just really frustrating trying to pull things out because the tolerance of the tabs are just too tight. Here, Unique Toys, they did a much better job. And this one, man, I really don't want to pick on Mastermind Creations, but I have to be very honest that first of all, the quality of the plastic on this compared to their Protectobots, yeah, this is a little scary because they're using harder plastic. And because this is an all built-in one, there's just more, it's more complicated. There's just too many parts that you need to manipulate just to transform. And it was a little hard figuring out because are you transforming it to the leg or the alt mode? So yeah, but ultimately I figured it out, but it's just this is just a little bit too complicated. But again, that's all built in. But in this one, like I said, this one's pretty fun to transform. It's easy to figure out. It's just the annoying part. Again, it's just trying to get things to tab in and pull things out. And there is a specific order to, transforming it. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo it just to get things to fold in and out. But anyways, I ramble. I just wanted to share that just to point out the differences between these three in terms of the way they engineered the transformation. So this one is actually pretty fun, easy. They, controlled the tolerance really well. This one's really kind of overly complicated, but that's understandable. It's all built in. This one's pretty fun and easy with the exception of just the way they handled the tolerance of the tabbing and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, last thing you could see, they all look good. So that's a look at the alt mode. And now one more comparison. Let's bring out, oh, see, when I do this just makes me love this set so much more because I'm just anticipating the other three Combaticons. They're just going to look so awesome together in robot mode and in alt mode, definitely in combined mode. So yeah, again, this just makes me tempted to want to buy 2 and now maybe 3. I got to control myself. So I got to really think. But overall, you could see this set looks really nice. So after transforming it, yeah, I'm appreciating this one much more. This, I think, is really the best version of a masterpiece scaled Swindle that we've gotten. But this is the thing that I'm always going to be upset Magic Square should have done this for us. They should have given us a blue window. But like I said, I fixed that now. So anyways, that's a look at that. So now let's transform this back to robot mode and have our final thoughts. Okay, here's a look at Swindle back in robot mode. And now my final thoughts on this figure. Overall, this is really a great figure in terms of the looks and aesthetics. Obviously, Magic Square does a really great job capturing the toon aesthetics. The shape and the proportions of everything is done really nice. Cleans up really well. Almost like too perfect. I mean, you know, you don't really see all these screws and pins showing. So this one definitely looks like it's stepped right out of the cartoon. So I like that a lot. I know there are other collectors that, you know, like all the extra details, and I told you what my thoughts on it are on it. You know, it does make it look nice. It's just your preference. My preference is more the toon aesthetic, so I actually like this very clean look to it. And the articulation and stuff like that, I mean, they work really well. It's just I'm still trying to figure out how they were able to do, you know, this without really like all that paint, but it holds up most importantly. And then the issues here, the joints, the hip on Brawl and Swindle, I mean, I have to point it out because you have to be aware of it when you're manipulating it for transformation or articulation, because you know, it is too prone to breakage if you don't know how to carefully manipulate this. But yeah, it's not perfect in the sense that, you know, they didn't design this area very well. Yeah, and you just need to be careful with it. This is not like X-Transbots where it's prone to breakage. This just causes issues that shouldn't be there. So yeah, that's just telling you there are imperfections. Even here, the double ratcheted leg here, this one works fine, but the upper ratchet, it's just so tight, and that part's needed for the transformation when you're bringing the leg forward and back. It's just, yeah, again, that's something Magic Square really needs to work on improving is, you know, fixing the tolerance on areas such as the ratchets and the tabs. That's what I'm telling you. It's just too tight when you're trying to pull it out. You're having to use force, and if you're not careful, you might actually cause stress to other areas. So, I mean, I'm aware of it, so I know how to be very careful. It's just very annoying having to fight through it. But, you know, aside from that, like I said, this figure, look at this, is not wobbly. It's very stable. Doesn't really have the die cast. I don't think you really need the die cast if you know, do the figure well. So, you know, I'm just trying to point out as many, you know, aspects of this figure as I can. But overall, this is really a great figure, especially when you compare it to the other versions, the Unique Toys, Mastermind Creations, the Zeta. This is now the best Masterpiece Swindle that we have. And you saw, you know, next to Brawl, it just looks even better. So all 5 of them, they're going to look really great. But anyways, I'll stop rambling. I'll just tell you, this is a great figure. I'm really happy to have this in my set. And now I got to keep thinking, do I want to buy 2 or 3 or just try to be smart and just stick with just this one. So that's it. That's my final review for the Magic Square Masterpiece Scaled Swindle.
It's not my fault, Megatron. This greed is built into my personality component.